Hey guys, Jay here. So quick build guide on the Autosparker, or now I would like to call it the Lazy Sparker. So initially this build, I planned it to be like a zero button build. I actually figured out a mechanic to make it work. If you want to check it out, you can check it out in my previous videos. I have already showcased a couple of videos on this character. I use Arctic Armor to trigger the shocked kill enemy, and then that will trigger the Earthbound Spark. So this will basically just chain clear everything because the spark trigger from the Earthbound staff can actually shock and kill the enemies themselves. So in this video, I'm going to, run a map by the end as well, but, mainly I want to talk about the build. So core item Earthbound and Killjoy. So these two items makes you proc 2 spark on every shocked enemy that you kill. Basically, it's the main core mechanic of the build. Alpha's How is going to be the helmet for spirit. Mostly I want spirit so I can put it cast on shock for quality of life for single target. I'll talk about it in the skill gem section. Moria Invictus with attribute and mana. Mana is more important. The other rogue attribute is probably the best. You can have other version as well if you have tighter budget, so you can find another one that is cheaper. The rest of the gear is rare gears, and all these rare, you want to cap the resistances as the first priority. Second, you want to get as much mana as possible. You want to get as much intelligence as possible. So that's about it. All right. And obviously, you want some extra, dexterity and strength in order to wear all the gear. I should not wear this boot. The armor does nothing, but this is what I got. So I kind of need to have a little bit of strength as well. But most importantly, you want to have some dexterity for the Alpha's How. On the Alpha's How, by the way, this Soulcore of Xantipi to convert 20% of requirement to intelligence, so I don't need to get more dexterity. I can just have all the intelligence. And other than that, all the Soulcore here is recommended to be 2% mana, which is Soulcore of Zalato. If you don't have the budget for this Soulcore 2% mana, you can use the normal one, which is the one that I got in here. Mind Rune, 20 mana, that's good enough. Other than that, the only thing that I want from rare gear here is 40 spirit from your amulet. At least 40 spirit. It will allow you to have 2 casts on shock, 1 archmage, and clarity. That's everything that we really need for the build. Alright. The charm, thawing charm for freeze immunity, and then the stone charm for cannot be stunned. So on the skill tree, this is the skill tree. We grab all attribute, we grab some lightning damage stuff, shock stuff, grab all the intelligence. On the way, every single travel node is intelligence, and grab chaos inoculation, eldritch battery, and mind over matter. So this convert everything into mana. We take all damage into mana. We use mana to scale our damage, so mana is everything. Grab a bunch of lightning things on the way here, some intelligence for mana, because Gemling Legionnaire is the class. We gain 4 mana per intelligence, so that is very good. We have some projectile speed here for Spark, some duration here also for Spark. And yeah, on the skill tree, I try to get as much magnitude of non-damaging element, or shock. This is magnitude of shock. This is magnitude of non-damaging element, and shock is one of the non-damaging elements. So this also scale the shock that you can do. Why do we go so heavy on shock? Well, because the single target of this build is lightning conduit, and this has pretty broken scaling, I would say, with shock magnitude. So right now I think I am shocking the enemy for like 100%, which means I am doing 2000% more damage with hits on shocked enemies, because that shock is massive, right? We obviously take some mana stuff as well as we scale mana. For the anointment, I am doing mana blessing here. This is relatively cheap and very effective as well. So 5% mana and 20 flat mana. Very good, very effective. I really like it. For the jewels, I am having a lot of jewels here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jewels here. Each of them, I literally only care about one single row, and that is 2% mana on kill. Without like at least 6%, and I would recommend 10% mana on kill, the build is not functioning, because you need to spend so much mana on the spark trigger. You need the mana on kill. There's no other way you can sustain your mana. Literally. Other than that, these 5 jewels are optional. All right. So for damage, if you want, you can get shock magnitude. For defense, you can get maximum resistances. I used to do 4 of the 2% fire resistances, maximum fire resistances on here, but I am, specking a little bit around it, and I am trying to get some cheap jewels, actually very cheap. Everything is less than 10 exalt. For shock magnitude, for some maximum lightning, 1% is okay. And yeah, here is 2%, which is very good. And magnitude of ailments. Magnitude of ailments, of non-damaging ailment, or of shock or work, the more the better. Just higher number is better. And this one is 10 strength. I do need 10 strength for my boots. Normally you should not need it if you wear like a poor energy shield, intelligent boots. But yeah, just again, more magnitude of ailments. That is the main thing to scale the damage. So on the skill gem, everything here 6 linked on the bottom here is just for getting maximum resistances, because we are a Gemling legionnaire. So we scale obviously double bonus from attribute. So mana we get a lot from here, and then the other one we get a lot of maximum resistances from stacking support gems. And the way that I use to stack support gem is I buy 6 link failed corruption on the market, because we don't use them. We don't care about the level reduction. We just need to have 6 links, so we have a 5 socket for support gem here, and we can put as many in as possible. So as you can see here, a lot of them. And all of this, each 4 of this red is going to give me 1 fire resistant maximum. Each 4 of the green one is going to give me lightning, and blue one is going to give me cold. So right now my resistant balance is at 85% lightning resistances, 82% fire, and 79% cold. Cold, you will naturally get it because a lot of support gems you use for the main link is going to be blue gems because they spell, right? But you want to have a lot of lightning, and you want to get more fire than cold. So I try to do 90% fire. It feels good, but the majority of the death that I have is with the mana siphoner. It is the direct counter to this build, and so I want to not die from it anymore, and that mana siphoner deals lightning damage to your character. So get maximum lightning resistance, feels good. I would highly recommend it, at least for this build and for this playstyle, right? For the main gems, right? Lightning bolt and mana drain is from the weapon, and we used it for more slots. So main gems here, first thing, spark, causing current, persistent, acceleration, and lightning penetration. This is the spark that is triggering from the vortex staff over here. I am tinkering around with this. Acceleration might not be the best thing here. I think maybe we can use like control destruction in here as well. But right now I am swapping around a little bit. But at least this worked relatively well, so I'm keeping it. So these are the 4 gems for the trigger spark. The self-cast spark, this one literally just for like either killing the first 1 or 2 enemies so they die, they get shocked, and they just spawn a lot of extra spark from this one, from the staff, to kill everything else. So this one is linked to inspiration for mana cost, arcane tempo for more cast speed, so it's smoother, right? And conduction, lightning exposure, and overcharge. This is just for shocking and exposing enemy to lightning resistant. Cast on shock, this is the main single target. Lightning conduit, element of focus, considered casting, just more damage for the lightning conduit. Control destruction, again more damage, and impetus, so it gain more energy, means that we cast it faster when we shock the enemy. We have a second cast on shock. This only is for the weapon swap with a wand and a focus right now. I'm not sure if this is going to be the best. Maybe we can find a staff that is going to give us sigil of power. That can be better, but for now this worked just very, very good, so I'm okay with it. This is a 50 exalt one. This is a 5 exalt focus. I've already mentioned multiple times in previous videos. What we look for here is mana, spell damage, level of spells. Yeah, that's about it. Same thing here as well. So this is only for the second set. If I weapon swap, as you can see, I have 2 casts on shock and archmage. This one is going to give me Orb of Storm. This thing allow me to use Font of Mana, which give me extra mana regen, which I desperately need, at least for the moment. Later, maybe we can get like Flame Wall into it, so we get a little bit more fire damage on the Spark as well. That is going to trigger Shock faster, because this fire damage is going to be to scale further by Archmage. And we have Conductivity, obviously, and we have Voltaic Mark. If we don't need this later, we can have like Heightened Curse as well. So yeah, there's a lot of options, but right now I'm going for this setup. My plan is I'm going to upgrade this mana into the Melting Maelstrom. That is the unique mana flask. I am having, I think, 16 divine right now. Yeah, so I need to farm like 3 or 4 more in order to get the actual unique mana flask. That is going to fully heal or fully recover my mana whenever I need. I just press one button and it's going to be full, and that is going to be very, very good. Right now, that is the only problem that I'm suffering from in like boss fight. So I cast a lot, it triggered the lightning conduit, which costs a lot of mana, and it just like burn out my mana, so I don't have anything to take damage, and I just randomly die. Archmage, the main damage scaler of this build. Linked to Clarity, Lightning Mastery, and this is just literally a random support gem that I put in here because I want one more red gem for an additional fire resistance maximum. Alright, so we don't need this. If we take it out, you will see I have 81. If we put it in, I have 82. So right now it's just for an additional resistance. So it's not required, but it's nice to have. You can put like precision in here, and you can change out one of the green support gem from somewhere into a red one as well. So Blink is going to be the last link here I want to mention. Oh, not second last actually. Blink should be linked into Ingenuity, and I think Wind Wave is probably a good one as well. Other than that, we can link a bunch of stuff randomly into Blink as well. This should not make sense, but it is linkable into the Blink, so I would just put it for more support gem. All right. And last but not least, this is an interesting one. I just recently have this. Literally the only thing that I care about in this particular Spark setup is Elemental Discharge. What is this? Well, Elemental Discharge is a gem, a support gem that remove or consume, freeze, shock, and ignite on hitting the enemy with the element on it. So why do I have that? So for example, this is like a boss situation. I use the normal Spark. I hit it multiple times, I shock it. But my cast on shock energy is like 90%, it's not 100%. It doesn't proc, so it doesn't consume the shock. So the enemy stays shocked for like 5 seconds, 6 seconds or something. I need to wait until that expires to actually shock the enemy again, and then I can trigger the cast on shock, which sucks. So that rare situation, it is very rare by the way. It doesn't happen very often, but it is very rare. But still, we can solve it with simply pressing the other Spark button, which is this setup. I'm pressing this one once, and the Elemental Discharge is going to immediately remove the shock from enemy. And then we can reapply the shock with the other Spark. So it's just a button that literally in the last 2 days, I press it like 3 times total. That's about it. So most of the gameplay is going to be one button, and you don't even need to press that one button very often. You can just cast it like every 10 seconds or something, because the Autospark, the auto clear, the trigger spark from the staff is going to be the one that do most of the clear. So that's about it. This is also like random stuff. I put like Electrocute, Neuro Overload, Ricochet, and Blind. So this is a button that we kind of use sometime, so I still want to put something nice into it. So here, because it cannot freeze, shock, or ignite, so I put Electrocute and Neuro Overload here. So maybe it electrocute something, I don't know. Ricochet, so it bounces better. Who knows? And Blind for blinding enemies, right? So it is not necessary, but you know, they are still green support gem. So that's everything I want to mention for this build. I think I've covered everything. I hope you enjoy this build. If you want to play around with it, in my previous video I have received quite a lot of positive comment on the build. So before I end the video, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoy. If you want to stay for a little bit longer and watch me clear this map, then you're welcome. But if you don't want to do so, you already seen enough, then yeah, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, right? So this map, we can literally just blink through. We don't need to cast anymore, and they would just die, right? In close area like this one, Spark is just kind of crazy. Okay, I want to pick up that. Maybe we can craft something cool with it. I don't know, man. As you can see, as long as we cast like once or twice, something die, then everything will just explode because there are way too many spark going on at the same time. I will not stop for the strong box. That is kind of shit still. So I am adapting to the playstyle of being more cautious because I really want to level up this character further. It is quite tanky, but it doesn't mean it is immortal, so I want to be a little bit more careful, basically. As you can see there. By the way, the triggered spark, even though it is triggered, but it's not a meta gem trigger, so it still can fuel the energy for cast on shock. What does it mean is it can actually just randomly cast the lightning conduit on while mapping, basically. And so rare just instantly explode from time to time. As you can see there, one single cast and everything die immediately. This room as well, probably one single cast and everything just die immediately. Right? Yep. And let me find the last monster. So this kind of close area is very good for this build in terms of single target. In open area, it is actually very good for this build for clear. So regardless of the layout that you need to run, this build kind of shine in a different way. So yeah. And that's the map. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoy again. And please leave a like and subscribe. And yeah, peace.